base. And yet we still are running a deficit, not just a little deficit. Nancy Pelosi took over the House 4 years ago, and the House has been, remember, the House is where all spending bills come out of, and she's responsible under her leadership for $5 trillion of deficit. Okay? Number 7, entitlements will consume all tax revenues by 2052. And for those of you who've been living in a cave, an entitlement is giving money to somebody who the government feels like they should just give the money to. These programs, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, they are on automatic pilot. They go up. They go up a lot. And right now, the reason that the liberal wing of the Democratic Party, the extreme liberals, say that we've got to raise taxes is because entitlement programs to give money away, are going to overcome the whole budget of the United States. My question is real simple at this point. Should we be taxing the stew out of people to get more money to give it away, not only to people in this country, but all over the world? Or should maybe, gosh, a novel idea, should we cut back a little bit on what we're spending? What do you think, Matt? I catch him in the middle of a yawn. Do you think we should just keep taxing, or should we cut back on spending to keep this from happening?
I don't think taxing people who are broke is going to get us anywhere in an economy. I was going to ask you, I was going to wait till you got done going through these charts, but I guess I'll ask you now. Since everything is connected, I mean, everything is, interconnected, and as far as our problems, our economy, the spending, some of the laws we make and all that, what do you go after first? What is the most important thing you fix out of all this, first and foremost, and then what trickle-down effect do you go after that?
Wow, that's a good question. We're gonna have another chart or two that's gonna show some things about.
Yeah, that's all gonna wait until after.
Yeah, that's gonna talk about the debt, and it's gonna talk about spending, and it's gonna talk about.
Get through those first, think about it, and then we'll get around to it.
Okay.
That's not an easy.
Come back. We'll come back to the question.
Like, oh, taxes.
Yeah. Come back to that question. Okay. So by 2052, folks, that's not that long, because I remember thinking when I graduated high school in 1969, they'll just never be able to get used to not saying 19 something, and now all of a sudden it's ingrained in us 29, 2010, 2011. So watch that one. The number 6, taxes per household have risen dramatically. This isn't a chart that says every household pays this amount. What this chart says is that inflation-adjusted dollars in 2009, taxes per household have risen. So whoever's paying the tax doesn't make any difference. It could be the top 1% of people in the country, but the amount of tax per household has gone up dramatically. But yet, I don't understand how anybody, liberal or conservative, either one, can say we need to keep on putting programs together to spend money, to spend money, to spend money. When this isn't how much does each household owe to get the federal deficit down. This is how much taxes are in every household if you took the amount of taxes put in the amount of households in this country. It's incredible, is it not?
Mm.
Number 5, Obama's budget would create unprecedented deficits. Now, remember, this is the White House Office of Management and Budget that's doing this, the OMB. And these charts show from Kennedy through Johnson as a percentage of the GDP deficits. Okay? Now, I also want you to understand that a lot of things depends on which accounting method they're using to pull some of this out. So some of it could not possibly be as good or as bad as it looks on paper for either a Republican or a Democrat. It doesn't make any difference. But when you see these charts, you don't see any of these presidents except for Clinton, who moved out of the left back to center right after he got a shellacking after 2 years. And he has probably the best record. Some of that was creative accounting, but he has the best record of any of them. Barack Obama right now, on his current track, is going to almost double the worst of any president since John Kennedy. These are deficits that we cannot continue to build up. Number 4, the national debt set to skyrocket. Man, all these arguments about wars, about Afghanistan, and we'll talk about that in your question in a few minutes. When you start looking to see what our debt's going to skyrocket to if we don't get it under control by 2030, you're going to have 180.6% increase. That's a lot of money. This isn't we have enough money to pay for it. This is our deficit. Do you know our deficit is bigger than the economies of quite a few of the European countries put together? Their whole value of their whole damn country, and our deficit's bigger than that. Number 3, federal spending is growing faster than federal revenue. Folks, go to our website, conservativefreedomusa.com. I'm not real good at doing all this advertising of the site. I'm constantly fussed on for that. Federal spending is growing faster than federal revenue. And I don't care if it's Barack Obama. He happens to be the president that endorses this crap. It happened to be, Dingy Harry that endorsed this crap. It happened to be Princess Pelosi. Those 3 put together had control. And boy, there ain't nobody that can say that Botox didn't help that girl get where she's going. Because she can sure make people in Congress, in the House of Representatives, do what she wanted to do. But look, at 2010 alone, we got a total deficit of $3.69 trillion, and we've got $2.15 trillion. These are not pie in the sky numbers. Remember, these are White House numbers. Now, the reason I want you to read these books I keep harping on is because we have accumulated on the website a lot of audio sound bites, video sound bites, and you will never hear Barack Obama give you these numbers because he cannot be elected if you understand these numbers. That's pretty clear, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Number 2, federal spending per household. That was an article today. No, it wasn't today. It's on the website. It come out of cnsnews.com. The 111th Congress added more debt to each household, each person in this country than the first 100 Congresses put together. Just this Congress this year put together more than $10,429 of debt per person, no matter what kind of age they were. Federal spending per household is skyrocketing. Am I one of these conservatives that believes the government should do nothing for nobody and everybody's a piece of crap and the only people worth it is people that have a lot of money? No. Is there people that should be helped in this country by the government? Yes. Can we continue to have federal spending per household of $36,000? I don't know, folks. It's got to be paid for by somebody. And then the number one chart that you need to look at, because this goes to the basis of all the arguing that goes on in Congress, which makes you just kind of go, duh, have you read? And that is the top 10% of income earners paid 71% of the federal income tax in this country. All right, let's hit that one more time. The top 10% of people who earned money in this country, whether it was on investments or hard work, paid 71% of the federal income taxes in this country. Now, I've had conservative. You think I'm conservative, Matt?
A little bit.
Okay. I'm nowhere close to the guy that I'm fixing to quote you. I won't tell you his name. His theory is that because people in the top 10% earning bracket pay 71% of the taxes, that those people who didn't pay any taxes, which, by the way, is 45 to 50% of everybody in the country, paid zero taxes, that they shouldn't be in line to get a damn thing from the government because they didn't pay anything into it. Now, I'm conservative, but I'm not that. Okay? I think the best thing that we can do for this country is to get this country back, not on physical, like you take a physical for, but fiscal, F-I-S-C-A-L, get us back on a physical, straight and narrow highway. Can that top 10% afford 71%? Not all of them. Not all of them. Can that top 1% that pays in more than 2/3 of that, can they afford it? Yeah. But what's an acceptable level? That'll get us into your discussion now. What's an acceptable level to tax a rich person? Is it like my blonde-headed bimbo from Occidental College, that it should go up to 100% because they got more money than they need anyway? What's acceptable? What would you say is acceptable?
This is something I've thought about because I would like to be rich one day.
He's going to be rich. He's going to be a movie star. He's been in some movies. He's been in some television. He's going to be rich one day. And I'm going to tell everybody I know him, and he's going to have to pay me to not tell all the shit that he don't want to know. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that on there. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't hold my breath on all that. I think I got a better chance of winning the lottery sometimes.
I am too if I ever play it.
Exactly. That's the only issue I have. But no, that's something you always want to think about. You run around on top of your head, how much of your money are you willing to give away? And I understand, you work hard for money and, it's one thing if you win it in a jackpot. Yeah, you should be taxed for that.
How much?
To be honest, I don't know the particulars how much. I know it's like almost half. And some states might take from you or whatever. But to someone who's never had anything before, to go from that to millions of dollars, it's just numbers anyway. You never had it to begin with.
The biggest percentage of these basketball stars and people who win within 10 years are dead broke because nobody helps them with their money. But okay, so you've got a jackpot winner, but you've got a guy that gets out there and works his butt off
every day. And, that's a whole different bracket. And to be honest, you got to sit down and think about, how many people does he employ? If